this f***ing fuck. So I'm really grateful to be able to earn a living and have a career, try and have a career, with something that I love and in a simple thing.
In the glitzy, cutthroat world of Hollywood, true humility and integrity are rare gems. Yet one name shines brilliantly, revered by fans and peers alike: Keanu Reeves. This unassuming superstar has achieved something truly extraordinary, maintaining an unblemished reputation spanning decades in an industry notorious for scandal. From his iconic roles in blockbusters like The Matrix and John Wick to his down-to-earth persona off-screen, Reeves has become a symbol of humility and authenticity. His ever-growing legion of fans cherish not just his acting prowess, but his grounded, ethical character in a town too often plagued by egomania and moral compromise. But Reeves' path has not been without its trials. Whispers abound of a dark chapter when the Hollywood elite seemingly punished him for refusing to play by their rules. For over a decade, this principled maverick was professionally ostracized, the price for defying the powers that be and their stringent codes of conformity. Keanu's sobering experience echoes the sentiments voiced by fellow actor Williams. Though their journeys differed, Williams exposed the harsh truth about Tinseltown's puppet masters, an elite cabal who anoint stars and discard those who dare defy their draconian control. Speak out, and you risk being blacklisted into oblivion. It's a chilling reality that many willingly accept, blinded by their ravenous hunger for fame and fortune at any cost. But for the rare few like Reeves who prioritize values over vapid celebrity, the consequences can be severe. His perseverance proves that even in Hollywood's moral wasteland, uncompromising ethics can ultimately triumph.
When I be like, these guys are wearing dresses. Everybody's like, he keeps talking about people wearing dresses. No, it's not.
That is a weird thing.
It's not like that. Look at it from a different way. Look at it. Show me one person that ever wore a dress in Hollywood unsuccessfully. That's how you understand what a ritual is. So 20 years ago, I knew that transgenders was going to be a thing. It wasn't because...
In a candid 2019 interview with GQ, Reeves laid bare a dark professional exile spanning 14 astonishing years, punishment for rejecting a lucrative sequel deal. His defiance cost him dearly in an industry notorious for demanding fealty. To grasp the full gravity of his ostracization, we must rewind to 1994, a cinematic year for the ages. Amidst masterpieces like Pulp Fiction, The Shawshank Redemption, and Forrest Gump's heartwarming journey, the adrenaline-fueled speed made Reeves a bankable star overnight. This breakneck thrill ride captivated audiences and critics alike, grossing over $350 million from just $38 million. But every triumph casts a shadow. As the windfall poured in and studio execs clamored for Speed 2, Reeves found himself at an existential crossroads. Co-star Sandra Bullock eagerly embraced the sequel's lucrative allure, but for Reeves, revisiting that high-octane world gave pause. His ambivalence stemmed from a deeper wellspring, a sense that action spectacles, while commercially successful, brought little creative nourishment. In an uncompromising act of artistic integrity, Reeves turned down a staggering $11 million payday for Speed 2, opting instead to perform Hamlet in a Canadian theater for a meager $2,000 weekly. Hollywood's retaliation was swift, a vicious blacklisting that prevented him from major roles for over a decade. Reeves cited profound burnout after wrapping Chain Reaction, finding the experience deeply unsatisfying, despite its pyrotechnic thrills. Coming off that draining shoot and still nursing injuries from a motorcycle mishap, the prospect of relentless aquatic stunt work held little appeal. His agent revealed Reeves' aversion to back-to-back action roles stemmed from a yearning for more soulful creative fulfillment. In hindsight, his principled stand was vindicated. Speed 2's mediocre reception proved his instincts correct, sparing him from being shackled to an artistically bankrupt franchise. His personal and professional rejuvenation would ultimately crystallize years later in the richly layered John Wick films, proof that staying true to one's values can pay artistic dividends, even in Hollywood.
Well, the first thing the trainer said to me is don't look at them. Like when you're getting close, don't look at them in the eye.
It sounds like some actors
look
in
at
Hollywood.
them. Yeah.
Don't look them in the eye.
Yeah, but these ones are...
When Speed 2 hit theaters in 1997, it quickly became a monumental disappointment. Despite boasting a hefty budget between $110 million and $160 million, it managed to rake in just $64.5 million at the box office. The film's reception was so poor that it garnered a pitiful 4% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, solidifying its place as one of the worst sequels ever made. This flop turned into a cautionary tale within Hollywood, serving as a stark reminder of how even big budgets and high expectations can't guarantee success. Parallel to the professional turbulence in his career, Keanu Reeves faced profound personal challenges. While navigating his rise to stardom, Reeves encountered a series of heartbreaking tragedies involving those close to him. During the twilight of the 1990s, Reeves' life was marred by personal strife. His sister, Kim, was diagnosed with leukemia, casting a long shadow over his family. In 1998, Reeves began a relationship with fellow actor Jennifer Syme. They eagerly awaited the birth of their first child, but tragedy struck in 1999 when their daughter, Ava, was stillborn. This devastating loss strained their relationship to the breaking point, and despite efforts to reconcile, they eventually drifted apart. Tragedy struck again in 2001 when Jennifer Syme died in a car accident after attending a party at Marilyn Manson's house. Although they were no longer together at the time, Reeves was deeply affected by her passing, adding another layer to his grief. Adding to his sorrow, Reeves also mourned the loss of River Phoenix, a close friend and talented actor who tragically died of a drug overdose in 1993. This series of personal tragedies and professional setbacks paints a picture of Reeves as a resilient figure who has weathered more than his fair share of storms, both on and off the screen.
Experimental, level of lifestyle, which is just not as interconnected with business or consuming, just what you need, minimalist, and that's provided me with just a different view on it all.
Their on-screen chemistry in Gus Van Sant's 1991 film My Own Private Idaho hinted at a shared understanding that extended far beyond the script's pages. In fact, Reeves revealed they initially had reservations about the roles, only agreeing on the condition they starred together, an unbreakable pact between kindred artistic spirits. In hindsight, that bonding proved fatefully profound. Phoenix's shocking demise at the Viper Room, slipping from this world as his brother Joaquin held vigil, left an indelible mark on Reeves. It was a cruel reminder that even Hollywood's brightest stars remain subject to life's harsh impermanence. For Reeves, that loss remains an open wound. During an interview, his voice grew heavy, recounting a poignant conversation they shared on Crescent Heights, just shy of Sunset Boulevard. He spoke of their warmth and camaraderie, of missing his friend immensely in the years since tragedy struck. River's absence casts a lingering melancholy that even Reeves' closest confidants know better than to probe. A solitary mourning few outsiders can truly grasp. Yet, in the face of such searing loss, Reeves' grounded compassion shines with remarkable resilience. It's this humility that has endeared him to so many over the decades. Even when contemplating life's profoundest mysteries alongside Stephen Colbert, pondering what comes after we die, Reeves' answer radiated with gentle wisdom beyond his years. With each passing year, new anecdotes of his generosity seemed to emerge, warming hearts and brightening days. From random encounters with stunned fans to glowing testimonies from colleagues, a portrait takes shape of a man who has transmuted tragedy into a deeper appreciation for life's preciousness.
Happens when we die, Keanu Reeves.
I know that the ones who love us will miss us.
Keanu Reeves stands apart, a rare paragon of humility and selflessness. From epic blockbusters to modest indie films, his generosity has become the stuff of Hollywood lore. Consider his actions during the 1999 filming of The Matrix. Despite earning a king's ransom for that era-defining sci-fi opus, Reeves willingly surrendered a staggering $75 million of his windfall. His aim? To compensate the unsung visual effects artists and crew members whose Herculean efforts truly brought that cyberpunk vision to life. This wasn't an isolated act of benevolence. For The Devil's Advocate in 1997, Reeves sacrificed $2 million from his fee to ensure the studio could afford renowned talents like Al Pacino. And for 2000's The Replacements, he incredulously slashed his quote by 90%, all to facilitate the hiring of acting legend Gene Hackman. Such gestures spotlight not just Reeves' profound gratitude for his collaborators, but his core decency as a human being. His appeal transcends mere celebrity, speaking to a humbling respect for his peers that is extraordinarily rare in Hollywood's ego-driven landscape. This graciousness extends to his interactions with female co-stars and fans. And in an industry tarnished by countless Me Too scandals, Reeves' courteous treatment of women is a shining counterpoint. Unlike many male stars who openly embrace their female colleagues for publicity photos, Reeves prioritizes their personal comfort and boundaries. His unique hover hand stance, keeping a respectful distance during red carpet portraits, sparked viral admiration in 2019 for its quiet chivalry. For Reeves' legion of fans, such thoughtfulness cements his status as one of the last true gentlemen in modern Hollywood. But there's profound substance under that unassuming persona. In stark contrast to many philanthropists flaunting their largesse, Reeves has quietly channeled a significant portion of his wealth into charitable causes, particularly those fighting cancer and aiding children's hospitals. This crusade is profoundly personal, ignited by his younger sister Kim's brave battle against leukemia at a tender age. Ever since, he's made it his humble mission to give back, having confided, "I've been running a private foundation for years now, aiding children's hospitals and supporting cancer research anonymously." While Reeves prefers deflecting attention from his altruism, instances of his extraordinary generosity have emerged. In 2020, amid the pandemic's peak, he auctioned off a 15-minute virtual hangout, all to raise vital funds for a children's cancer charity. In an industry often dismissive of virtues like integrity and compassion, Keanu Reeves' path has been unconventional yet inspiring. From refusing to sacrifice his values for commercial interests to channeling his privilege into anonymously easing others' suffering, Reeves has crafted an unimpeachable legacy of character. Sadly, standing one's moral ground in Hollywood often comes at a steep cost, as other principled stars like Tippi Hedren have discovered firsthand. Hedren's harrowing experiences, laying bare the trauma inflicted by auteurs like the Alfred Hitchcock, who tormented her on set after she rebuffed his advances, illuminate the cruelty sometimes meted against ethical nonconformists. Yet even amidst such sobering realities, Reeves's perseverance reaffirms that human decency can ultimately eclipse Hollywood's darker impulses. In an era where too many icons have feet of clay, his authenticity and altruistic spirit provide a heroic blueprint for using fame's power for good.
How serious was it? Did Alfred Hitchcock try to have sex with you?
Well, it never got that far. I stopped it immediately. It's the worst thing to be the object of someone's obsession if you're not interested. It became...
Tippi Hedren's ordeal under the tyrannical control of Alfred Hitchcock exposes the insidious dynamics that have long plagued Hollywood. Her revelations shed brutal light on how the master of suspense systemically sabotaged her career after she rebuffed his misogynistic advances on set. It went far beyond psychological torment. Hitchcock actively obstructed her contractual studio Universal from supporting Hedren's Oscar-worthy performance in Marnie. For 2 excruciating years, this legendary auteur effectively blacklisted her from working at all. As Hedren lamented, "I was at the mercy of it all, with no legal recourse whatsoever." An injustice that today's Me Too reckoning renders unconscionable. Brendan Fraser's painful experience also underscores how power can be abused to derail even the brightest careers. After soaring to stardom with the Mummy franchise, Fraser's opportunities began drying up. Part of this trajectory, he believes, stemmed from a mortifying 2003 incident involving Philip Burke, the former Hollywood Foreign Press Association president. In the aftermath of that Beverly Hills hotel encounter, where Fraser felt denigrated by Burke, his Golden Globes invites dried up and roles grew scarce, an eerie symmetry mirroring his character's curse in The Mummy. As the phone lines grew silent, Fraser couldn't help wondering if that unsettling incident catalyzed a quiet industry blacklisting. Rose McGowan's scorched earth battle to expose Harvey Weinstein's predations offers another sobering glimpse into Hollywood's underbelly of exploitation. McGowan asserts her career was effectively derailed after she refused to stay silent about enduring his depredations, particularly around the seminal Scream releases. Post-settlement, she found herself ostracized from the industry, her promising projects systematically suppressed by the vile producer as retribution. A cruel fate also inflicted on actresses like Ashley Judd and Mira Sorvino, whose testimonies prompted Peter Jackson's gut-wrenching admission that he was misled by Miramax, Weinstein's company, into blacklisting them from Lord of the Rings over fabricated attitude concerns. If these harrowing accounts illustrate the depths of vindictiveness prominent figures can sink to, Randy Quaid's saga ventures into outright Shakespearean tragedy, or Hollywood's own spin on a beautiful mind's paranoid delusions. What began as an on-set clash over his wife's inappropriate behavior during the filming of Brokeback Mountain soon metastasized into a full-blown career immolation. Banned for life from the Actors Union, booted from the movie, and slapped with crushing $81,000 penalties, the downward spiral grew utterly surreal as Quaid descended into conspiratorial rants. He now alleges being targeted by shadowy star whackers already responsible for the deaths of Heath Ledger, David Carradine, and Chris Penn, a twisted Hollywood fantasy turned terrifying psychosis that encapsulates the extreme some succumb to when the industry mines their very sanity. Through these searing vignettes, a chilling truth emerges that for every inspirational tale of an entertainer persevering through adversity, there are multi-pronged campaigns of cruelty perpetrated by those threatened by ethical non-conformity or deflated egos. Even amid growing accountability and reform, the human capacity for vindictiveness still finds fertile ground in Hollywood's cynical landscape. Yet Keanu Reeves' resolute integrity and humility provide a radiant counterpoint, proof that it's possible to not just survive, but thrive as an uncompromising spirit. His dignified perseverance reaffirms that while the road is arduous, decency and authentic artistry can ultimately eclipse the darkness cast by the industry's most corrosive figures.
Nor are we fugitives from justice, nor are we... We believe there are to be a malignant tumor of star whackers in Hollywood.
For Feldman, his plummet from 1980s child stardom in iconic films like The Goonies and The Lost Boys was fueled, he alleges, by powerful figures seeking retaliation after he began exposing Hollywood's pedophilia epidemic. His relentless pursuit of justice has evolved into a career-defining mission, one that's faced daunting opposition. Feldman has waged an uphill battle getting his documentary expose off the ground due to fears over the incendiary revelations within and potential legal backlash from implicated predators. Yet the mounting #MeToo movement has finally provided a cultural reckoning that may grant his long-standing allegations the serious audience they deserve. Now channeling his energy into advocacy, particularly safeguarding children within the industry, Feldman personifies the resilience required to overcome Hollywood's most sinister forces. His perseverance offers hope that with society's growing intolerance for sexual exploitation, long-silenced survivors can finally emerge from the shadows cast by their abusers. Monique's public war against perceived sabotage from industry titans Oprah Winfrey and Lee Daniels spotlights another insidious dynamic. The punitive blacklisting and career derailment actresses have endured for failing to comply with financial exploitation and bullying tactics. This simmering feud erupted after Monique's transcendent Oscar-winning turn in Daniels' 2009 drama Precious. When Oprah and producer Tyler Perry pressured the rising star to promote the film worldwide without compensation beyond her paltry $50,000 fee, Monique refused, citing contractual rights. This defiance allegedly prompted Oprah and Perry to retaliate by blacklisting her as difficult, a damning Hollywood euphemism to justify suppressing outspoken talents, as actresses like Monique, Mira Sorvino, and Ashley Judd have experienced firsthand. The most explosive allegations, however, center on Oprah allegedly usurping prominent acting roles once destined for Monique's talents. According to the actress, Winfrey expressed interest in playing the grandmother in Lee Daniels' planned Richard Pryor biopic, for which Monique had already begun preparations. A pattern she claims traces back to 2013's The Butler, when Oprah secured a lead part Monique was purportedly in line for initially. While stopping short of outright accusations, Monique has made it clear these highly unorthodox developments raise serious ethical concerns over potential underhanded dealings to undermine her career's ascendancy. Her impassioned demands for an open dialogue suggest the wounds are still incredibly raw from the fallout over the Precious controversy. Through Feldman's unrelenting campaign for justice and Monique's scorched earth battle against Hollywood's retaliation machine, a harsh truth is exposed. In this notoriously insular entertainment empire, speaking inconvenient truths often breeds costly professional exile and character assassination from those threatened by accountability. Yet, for every harrowing vignette of audacious exploitation and bullying, inspirational counterweights like Keanu Reeves' humanitarian triumph through uncompromising integrity provide a radiant flicker of hope. While the road to institutional reform remains arduous, his perseverance reaffirms that human decency can transcend Hollywood's most corrosive impulses. If generational talents like Feldman and Monique represent the grave personal costs of refusing to stay silent, Reeves's legacy heralds the positive impact one person can wield simply by leading with kindness, humility, and moral courage in the face of adversity. A shining reminder that even in the glitziest corners of society, genuinely good souls can stubbornly persevere.
Unapologetic, and I'm unwavering about it. Because when I see this woman, Oprah Winfrey, how do you as a black woman watch another black woman be thrown under the bus based off of a lie? What I won't do is be quiet.
Monique recently revealed a significant clash with Tyler Perry, who hinted that promoting the film Precious could potentially boost her earnings to between $3 to $5 million for her next project and up to $6 to $8 million if she won an Oscar. However, Monique, both unapologetically black and astutely business-minded, questioned the feasibility of these figures and insisted she couldn't work for free. Having already fulfilled her contract, she was unwilling to travel globally without proper compensation. This led to a heated exchange where Tyler Perry advocated for his no freebies policy, while Monique stood firm in her belief that fair work deserves fair pay. This fundamental clash of principles ended with Monique refusing to back down. Monique made another startling revelation, alleging that Tyler Perry had gone to great lengths to interfere with her career opportunities. This tension began when she declined an invitation to fly to France for the Cannes Film Festival to promote Precious. Despite the studio's request, Monique, balancing her roles as a talk show host, comedian, and family woman, declined the offer. Even with promises of upgraded accommodations, she and her husband prioritized family time over the event. They later discovered that the studio had no plans to compensate anyone for promotional appearances. In an interview, Monique discussed her $50,000 paycheck for Precious, clarifying that her decision to take the role wasn't driven by financial necessity. Partnering with her interviewer friend Duyan, she debunked the notion that she accepted the role solely to pay bills. Instead, Monique emphasized that her dispute with the studio was about their refusal to pay for promotional work, which initially seemed straightforward, but later spiraled into controversy. Rumors began portraying her as difficult and demanding, exacerbating the situation. This controversy sheds light on the darker aspects of Hollywood, where blackballing remains a real issue. While some celebrities, like Keanu Reeves, have managed to overcome personal and professional challenges to achieve great success, not everyone has been as fortunate. This narrative highlights the less honorable facets of Tinseltown, making it clear that standing up for one's principles can sometimes come at a steep price.